Hey guys, so we're in the studio today with this gorgeous Lionheart guitar, and we're not doing a lesson on how to play better or about gear, or it's a little bit of a studio tip, but I'm pretty sure this one's going to piss some people off. So today's lesson is a studio trick, if you will, and really it's kind of a cheat, and that's why I think it might make some people angry, but the purpose of this video is really just about saving you some money. If you're working in a studio and you're paying by the hour, it's really important that you don't have a lot of hours spent doing things over and over or giving the engineer a ton of work to do. So what I want to give you here is a way that's going to save you quite a bit of time. And this one is specific for players of a style of music that's become known as Djent. Djent is onomatopoeia for the sound it makes when you chug, djent, djent, djent. You know, that syncopated heavy metal chugging, syncing up with the bass kind of sound that's become so popular. And anyone that's played this kind of music knows that it requires some very good equipment. You need a very good noise gate. You need an amp with the right kind of drive, and sometimes drive in front of drive pedals. And you need pickups that give you a nice, tight, defined distortion so you can get all the sounds of the chords. And when you stop, it stops. You know, you don't have a lot of noise and hum from the pickups. Also, of course, there's technique involved here to play it well. Good right-hand muting, good left-hand muting too. And just playing a very kind of tight mechanical style. And of course, when you play any of your songs live, you want to get that as good as you can. There's going to be some noise, and in a live situation, it's much less noticeable. But when you're recording, it's under a microscope. And if you've ever been at any major studio or been doing this yourself for a while, you can see any session recording of this kind of music, and you will look at the guitar tracks, and instead of a continuous wave graphic like you're used to seeing for most guitar tracks, the thing will look like barcode. I can guarantee you, even the best of the best players, when they go into the studio and they work on this stuff, the editing is extreme, and the amount of time spent editing it is significant. And this is where it's costing you money, spending time for the engineer to edit every little break and dead spot in the song where you don't want any string noise or any of the extraneous pickup noise or any kind of noise that's happened. And what I'm going to give you today is a way to do this where there will be much less and sometimes even no editing. So let's go over to the studio desk here. I'll switch to my webcam and give you a view of the session as well, and you'll see how I go about utilizing this cheat. Okay, so I've got a Reaper session loaded up here, and the first thing I'm going to do is play along with it just so you can hear what the final product sounds like, and then we'll talk about how we got there with the special cheat trick. Okay, you can hear that's mechanically tight, but what you do see is that I have one continuous stream of wave file there, and where all the breaks are on the stereo guitars, there's not a whole bunch of editing. Like normally, what I was talking about in the beginning there is that you would have something where the engineer has taken each one of these spots and cut them up and got rid of all the little extraneous noises to get that mechanically tight sound. And that's hours you're spending or paying for that the engineer has to do all that work. So I'm trying to save you some money here, and this is what this tip is all about. So I'm going to play just solo here, a little tiny piece of it. And I've got a Kemper patch loaded up of an orange amp, and you can hear it's a little bit noisy. I don't know if you can hear the background noise, but I'm kind of emulating if you've got not the best pickups or your gate's not gating great, and you get something like there's noise in there. You're going to pick up some of the hand hitting noise, left hand hitting noise, and of course, there's no substitute for playing well. But again, I'm trying to save you money here. That's what this is all about. So the trick is, let's move over a little bit. Instead of having to cut these things all up, you can play them at half speed. I have taken the drums, and in Reaper here, what you do is you take whatever your wave is that you want to, or even the MIDI track here, that you want to expand, and you grab the edge of it, hold the Alt key, and you see the little hand icon appears there. And then that's the normal speed when I dragged it over, and I drag it all the way out to double speed. So now I'm playing in halftime. So I'm going to play the guitar part in halftime along with the drums. So you can see I've got the track all spread out now, played at half speed, and all I have to do is reverse what I did when I expanded the drums out. Grab the Alt key, grab the edge of it, or hit the Alt key, grab the edge of it, and then drag it in to 1/2 the speed, or 1/2 the time, and it will double the speed back up. Now, if you have Logic or Cubase, Pro Tools, whatever you're using, I don't know what the keys are for that, but they all definitely have the same functionality. So now I play it back soloed with the click. Right, then I would just take it and drag it over to the main area, and you have your track. So now, of course, this is no excuse for not learning how to play the part correctly. But again, if you've got an engineer sitting there in the studio cutting every little section of it, you're spending a lot of money, and I'm trying to help you save some money here with this tip, so it's one way to attack it. Now, there's a couple caveats here when you're doing this, and you can even hear it a little bit in that one track I did. One is that if you're playing with any vibrato at all, it's going to sound weird and gargly. Two, if you try to do this with lead parts or parts that are played higher on the guitar, like maybe some tapping parts in between, it's going to get very weird. There'll be artifacts and it'll sound odd. Now, maybe you'd want to go for that. You know, it's an effect you're looking for, but if you're trying to sound natural at all, it's going to definitely take away from that. And another thing I want to add here is that even though I said there was no part of this lesson about learning guitar, getting better, actually, when you play your parts at half speed like this and you train yourself to play them, you will find that when you go back to playing them at normal speed, you can actually play them a lot better and tighter and get those mutes down and everything. So it could actually be a practice technique for you as well. But as I said, you know, this is definitely a cheat. I know that this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but I'm trying to save you some money here, and that's what this tip was really all about. It's just another way to attack it instead of editing each little break in between. So take it for what it is. Okay, there you have it, guys. It is pretty simple. And as I said in the video, you actually, by playing these things half speed, can learn to play your own parts better. So in a way, I guess that's a bit of a lesson and maybe something you can use for some other things that you're doing. So if you have any questions or comments or additional ideas, of course, leave them below. I always like to hear from you. And until next time, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.